Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri, wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair. Tamarinu, exercises. Ajib anil asilatil atiya. Answer the following questions. Musta'milan, by using al-muthanna, the dual. We have learned in the previous lesson that the muthanna comes with the sound of ani. When we talk about the dual masculine, it will be ani. And when we talk about the feminine, it will be tani. Ani and tani, that's the sound that we have to follow. So the first question is kam qalaman indak, and we have also learned that after kam, the noun is always mansub, it is singular and it is indefinite. So the first question is kam qalaman indak. So what is the dual of qalaman? Qalamani, excellent. So kam kalaman indak. So you will say, I have two pens. So you will say, indi qalamani. I have two pens. So indi will be dharf plus mudaf ilayh, and this is predicate or khabar, and qalamani is the subject, because we know that dharf and mudaf ilayh cannot be subject. There will be always predicate. Kam kitaban indaka, how many books do you have? And now you want to say, I have two books. So very simple, you say indi kitabani. All right, can I say indi kitabaini? Is it possible to say that? I have two books. For example, indi qalamani, can I say indi qalamaini? Can I say indi kitabaini? Is it possible? Yes or no? No, it's not possible. Why is that? Because kitabani is subject, and subject is always marfu. Subject is always marfu. When we talk about the dual of the marfu, the dual of the marfu comes with alif, as we can see here. So it will be alif, and the noon is extra. We will see inshallah in the future that sometimes this noon will be dropped. So that's why we will say that this is marfu bil alif. So it is kitabani. When we say aini, that will be mansub or majroor. So now we can see that kitabani is subject and indi is predicate. And we know that subject and predicate, they are always marfu. Excellent. Kam sabburatan fi faslikum. How many boards or writing boards are there in your classroom? So you want to say it has two boards, or it has two writing boards. So how will you say? Fihi sabburatani. Fihi sabburatani. It has two boards. Okay, sabburatani. So when we have ta marbuta in the end, and when we add alif and noon, then it becomes the regular ta. So it becomes sabburatani. Fihi sabburatani. It has two writing boards. Kam riyalan indaki al-ana ya Layla. How many riyals do you have right now, O Layla? And she says, indi riyalani. I have two riyals. Indi riyalani. I have two riyals. Okay. Kam ukhtan laka ya Ali. How many brothers do you have, O Ali? And he wants to say sisters, sorry. Kam ukhtan laka, O Ali. So he wants to say, I have two sisters. So he will say, li ukhtani, right? We have to use li because we know that when we talk about the relationships, then we use the preposition li. So we will say, li ukhtani, I have two sisters. Okay, next is kam amman laki ya Aminatu. How many uncles do you have, O Amina? And she wants to say, I have two uncles. So she will say, li ammani. Excellent. I have two uncles, li ammani. Perfect. Kam sadiqan laka ya Muhammadu. How many friends do you have, O Muhammad? And Muhammad wants to say, I have two friends. So he will say, li sadiqani. Perfect. I have two friends. Okay. Kam taliban jadidan fi faslikum. How many new students are there in your classroom? You want to say two new students. So in our classroom, there are two new students. So you will say, fi faslina talibani jadidani. Talibani jadidani, two new students. So Taliban, one student, and Talibani, two students. And that is Mawsuf, that's a noun. And Jadidani is the sifa. And we know that Mawsuf and sifa are equal in capacity, gender, number, and status. So that's why we say في فصلنا طالبان جديدان. There are two new students in our classroom. كم مسجدا في قريتك يا زكريا? How many mosques are there in your village, O Zakaria? And he says, in our village there are two mosques. So he will say, في قريتنا مسجدان. في قريتنا مسجدان. There are two mosques in our village. كم فندقا في هذا الشارع? How many hotels are there in this street? Okay, so we want to say two. There are two hotels in this street. So we will say فيه فندقان. فيه فندقان. It has two hotels, or there are two hotels inside it. كم أخا لك يا سعاد? How many brothers do you have, O Suad? لي أخواني. Excellent. I have two brothers. As we can see here, al-akhu muthannahu, its dual is akhawani, two brothers. So just a small note, we need to know that generally a noun in Arabic consists of three letters. Consists of how many letters? Three letters. But when we look at abun and akhun, they consist of two letters. So it's not that they consist of two letters. And this is how they are used. But originally they also consist of three letters. So it's basically akhawun, and also abun is abawun. But in the singular noun, waw does not appear. But when we talk about the dual noun, then the waw comes back, or it appears. So that's why it is li abawani. I have two parents. So please, when we talk about abawani, that means parents, mother and father. But when you say li akhawani, then you say I have two brothers. So li akhawani wa li abawani. The small note that we need to know. Iqra, waktub, read and write. Khalidun lahu banani wa bintani. Khalid has two sons and two daughters. Ibnani wa bintani. Ibnun, and the dual is ibnani, and bintun, and the dual is bintani. Khalidun lahu ibnani or lahu ibnani wa bintani. Fi hadha al-bayti ghurfatani kabiratani. There are two big rooms in this house. Fi hadha al-bayti, in this house. Ghurfatani is mawsuf and kabiratani is sifa. There are two big rooms in this house. Fatimatu laha tiflani saghirani. Fatima has two small kids. So Fatimatu laha tiflani saghirani. Fatima has two small kids. Li aynani, I have two eyes. Wa udhunani, and two ears. Wa yadani, and two hands. Wa rijlani, and two legs. So now you want to say, I have two eyes, two ears, two hands, and two legs. So we will say li aynani wa udhnani wa yadani wa rijlani. In fact, sorry, wa rijlani, and I have two legs. Fi hadha al-hayy madrasatani. There are two schools in this district. Hayy is used for district, so we say fi hadha al-hayy madrasatani. There are two schools in this district. Salat al-Fajr rak'atani. There are two rak'ahs in Salat al-Fajr. So Salat al-Fajr, as we can see, is mudaf mudaf ilayh, and that is a subject, and rak'atani is predicate. Lil bayti miftahani. The house has two keys. Miftahun, and the dual of miftahun will be miftahani. Rak'atun, and the dual of rak'atun will be rak'atani. Liman hatanil baqaratani. Who do these two cows belong to? Hatani al-baqaratani. Now, have you noticed something over here? For baqaratani, we have to use hatani, because hatani is used for the dual feminine, ismul ishara. For masculine, we use hadani, and for the feminine, what do we use? We use hatani. Huma lil fallahi, they belong to the farmer. And now we are talking about tabiban, so that's why for tabiban we will use hadan. Ahadani tabibani min Inglaterra. Are these two doctors from England? La, no. Huma min Fransa. They both are from France. Fi qaryati masjidani saghirani. There are two small masjids in my village. Fi qaryati masjidani saghirani. So now we can see the sound ani tani. Ani tani. That is the sound of the dual. اقرأ الأمثلة, read the examples الآتية, the following. ثم, then, ضع, put. في الفراغ, in the blanks, فيما يلي, that follow. تمييزا, تمييز لكم. واضبط آخره, and then put the proper case endings. تمييز, inshallah, it's a noun that is always mansoob, and we will learn about it, inshallah, when we proceed into the course. As of now, we need to know that after kam, the noun that comes after kam, that is called tamyiz. What do we call it? Tamyiz. Kam ukhtan lak, kam ukhtan laka, or kam ukhtan laki. So it depends on the person that you are talking to. Kam qalaman indaka, how many pens do you have? And kam sayyaratan fil jamiati, how many cars are there in the university? So basically here we have to learn the use of kam, and we have to know that after kam, three things will come. So what are those three things? Yes, please tell me quickly. After kam, the noun is dual or plural? After kam, the noun is dual or plural? Yes, please tell me quickly. Singular. Excellent. So after kam, the noun is singular. Is it definite or indefinite? Nakira or ma'rifa? Indefinite, nakira. And is it majroor or is it marfu? It is mansoob. Excellent. So three things we need to know. Perfect. That the noun is always mansoob, it is nakira, and it is singular. As we can see here, kam ukhtan, kam qalaman, and kam sayyaratan, irrespective of the noun, whether it is masculine or feminine. Okay, so the next one is kam indaka or kam indaki. So you can say kitaban, qalaman, sayyaratan. It depends on ukhtan, right? So it depends on whatever noun that you are talking about, but the only thing that you have to make sure that the noun is singular, it is mansoob, and it is indefinite. Kam daftaran indaka, how many notebooks do you have? And then the next one, indaka, so you can say kam kitaban, kam qalaman, kam baytan, it depends on kam akhan, how many brothers do you have? Similarly, fi hadha shari'i, so kam, generally in the street, what do we have? Kam fundukan, we can say kam fundukan fi hadha shari'i, how many hotels are there in this street? Kam fi qaryatika, so you want to say kam masjidan, kam madrasatan, how many masjids or how many schools are there in your village? So we can say kam madrasatan fi qaryatika, how many schools are there in your village? Kam fi faslikum, so of course we are talking about students generally in the classroom, so we say kam taliban fi faslikum, how many students are there in your classroom? Kam fi sanati, of course when we talk about the year, so we talk about the months, so we say kam shahran fi sanati, kam shahran fi sanati, how many months are there in a year? Kam lid darajati, how many wheels are there in the bicycle? So we say kam ajalatan lid darajati. And if you remember in the previous lesson, I told you that li is used for the relationships, it's used for the body parts, and similarly it is used for like the bicycles when it has wheels, or for the cars, so the wheels of the cars and the wheels of the bicycles we use li, and also for the windows and the doors of the house we also use li. So now we know four things: that it is used for relationships, it is used for body parts, it is used for the wheels of the car or the bus or the bicycle, and it is used for the windows or the doors of the house. Kam fi ghurfatika, so kam sariran fi ghurfatika, kam kursiyan fi ghurfatika, how many beds are there in your room, how many chairs are in your room? So it depends, it's up to you. Now you can answer the way you want to, but the only thing that you have to make sure that the noun is singular, it is mansoob, and it is indefinite. Hawil, that means to change. Hawil al-mubtada'a, change the subject. Fi kullin min al-jumal al-atiyati, in each of the following sentences. Ila muthanna, to dual. So the subject we have to change into the dual noun. So we know that when the subject is dual, then the predicate has to be dual, right? So hadha kitabun, this is a book, and hadani kitabani, these are two books. So hadani is used for two, and it is used for masculine, and that's why this is dual. The subject is dual, and the predicate is also dual. So hadha qalamun, so we want to say these are two pens. So we will say هذان قلماني. Excellent. These are two pens. هذه مسطرة. This is the ruler. Now we want to say these are two rulers. So it will be هاتاني. The Sheikh has already told us over here that for the feminine we have to use هاتاني. So it will be هاتاني مسطرتان. I have two rulers. هذا طالب. This is a student. And you want to say these are two students. We will say هذان طالبان. These are two students. Okay, if we have two feminine students, what will we say? هذه طالبة. And we want to say these are two feminine students. So how will we say? هاتان طالبتان. Excellent. هاتان طالبتان. Now we can see that this is subject and predicate. Similarly, subject and predicate. مبتدا and خبر, and also مبتدا and خبر. هذان طالبان. These طالبتان. These are two feminine students. هذا الرجل مدرس. This man is teacher. And now you want to say these two men are teachers. So we will say هذان رجلان مدرسان. Excellent. So هذا will change into هذان, رجل will change into الرجلان, and مدرس will change into مدرسان. So هذان الرجلان, these two men, مدرسان, are teachers. Now this is different from the previous part of the exercise. In the previous part of the exercise, we said هذان طالبان. These are two students. But now we are using it as ismul ishara. So we are saying هذان الرجلان. These two men are مدرسان, teachers. These two men are teachers. هذا الطالب من الهند. This student is from India. Now we want to say these two students are from India. So we will say هذان الطالبان من الهند. هذان الطالبان من الهند. These two students are from India. هذه الساعة من اليابان. This watch is from Japan. Now we want to say these two watches are from Japan. So we will say هاتان الساعتان من اليابان. أحسنت. So هاتان الساعتان من اليابان. These two watches are from Japan. Okay. هذه السيارة للمدير. This car belongs to the manager. Now we want to say these two cars belong to the manager. So we will say هاتان السيارتان للمدير. These two cars belong to the manager. لمن هذا المفتاح? Who does this key belong to? And now you want to say who does these two, or who do these two keys belong to? So we will say لمن هذان المفتاحان. لمن هذان المفتاحان, or who are these two keys for? لمن هذه الملعقة. ملعقة is used for the spoon. Now you want to say who are these two spoons for? So you will say لمن هاتان الملعقتان. Yes, you have to use al with that. Yeah. لمن هاتان الملعقتان. And when you connect it, you will say لمن هاتان الملعقتان. Who are these two spoons for? Okay. اقرأ, read, and اقرأ الكلمات. اقرأ الكلمات الآتية. Now al-kalimat is mansub and al-atiyata is mansub. Both of them are mansub. But you can see al-kalimat has kasra and al-atiyata has fatha. Why is that? Because al-kalimat, when it is marfu, it will be marfu with dhamma. But when it is mansub and when it is majroor, it will be with kasra. So al-kalimat, yani the noun that ends with at, it accepts only two. It has only two status. The first one is atu, al-kalimatu, and the second one will be al-kalimati, al-kalimati. Now we know that when it is mansub, it will be al-kalimati, and when it is majroor, it will also be kalimati. So that's why here now we need to be slightly careful. Iqra al-kalimati al-atiyata. Read the following words. Waktubha, and then write them مع ضبط أواخرها, with the proper case endings. With the proper case endings. Okay. So we want to say kalbun, and we want to use the dual. So we want to say two dogs. So we will say kalbani. ضبط أواخرها, the proper case ending. So we know that the sound of the dual is ani, so it will be kalbani. Maktaba, maktabani. Okay. Two desks. Qamisani, qamisani, two shirts. Akhawani, two brothers. Mindilani, two handkerchiefs. Mistaratani, two rulers, ukhtani, two sisters, and imratani, two ladies. Imratani, two ladies. Okay. Thannil kalimati al-atiyata. Now you have to make the dual from the following nouns. Thanna yuthanni tathniyatan. So two, thanni is to make two al-kalimati, the words al-atiyata, the following. So we have to make dual from the following nouns. Sayyaratun, sayyaratani. Okay. Tabibatun, tabiba, tani. Okay. Tabibatani. Excellent. Waladun, waladani. All right. Excellent. Lughatun, two languages. Lughatani. Excellent. Sadiqun, and you want to say two friends, you will say Sadiqani. Excellent. Excellent. Then we have Tajirun, and we want to say two merchants, we will say Tajirani. Okay. Milaqatun, spoon, you want to say two spoons, Milaqa Tani. Mudarrisun and Mudarrisani, two teachers. Okay. Babun, we want to say two doors, it will be Babani. Excellent. Ismun, and we want to say two names, so we will say Ismani. Okay. Hada, and the dual for Hada is Hadani. Okay. And for Hadihi, we need to be careful. For Hadihi, it will be Hatani. Excellent. Very good. So Hada, Hadani, and Hadihi, Hatani. Okay. Al-Kalimat and Al-Kalimatu Al-Jadidatu, the new words. Kam means how many. Al-Eid, that means festival, or Al-Eid as we know. Al-Ajalatu, that means wheel, and the plural is Ajalatun, wheels. Al-Hayyu, district, and Ahya'un, districts. Also Al-Hayyu, someone who is alive, and the plural of Al-Hayyu is Ahya'un, that means alive. And the reason why they call it district is because the place where people live. So for example, Hayyul Khalij, Hayyul Jalmuda, the names of the places. So that's why it is Al-Hayyu and Ahya'un. Al-Riyalu, and that's the currency that's used in Saudi Arabia. And the plural is Riyalatun. Riyalatun. Al-Rak'atu, Raka'atun. So now you see over here that for the dual, Kaf is sakin. For the singular, Kaf is sakin, and for the dual, Kaf is sakin. So we say ar-rak'atu and we say ar-rak'atani. But when we talk about the plural, then Kaf will be mutaharrik. It will take fatha. So we say raka'atun. The same ajalatun, raka'atun. So that's the same pattern. It will be raka'atun. Al-mistaratu, the ruler, and the plural is masatiru. Okay, masatiru doesn't have tanween. Why is that? Please tell me quickly. Why is it not masatirun? Because it is tiptoed. Okay, it is on the pattern of mafa'ilu. So any noun that comes on the pattern of mafa'ilu. Do you remember an example from the Quran that I gave you? The noun that comes on the pattern of mafa'ilu. Yes, manafi'u, masharibu, masajidu. Okay, excellent. Masajid has also been used in the Quran. So try to remember at least one or two or three examples from the Quran so that we stay connected, and whenever we are reciting the Quran, we can always relate it. Now, we will inshallah look at some of the examples of the dual from the Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قالوا إن هذان, as we can see over here, هذان للساحران هذان لساحران يريدان أن يخرجاكم من أرضكم بسحرهما. So now we can see here, هذان, these two, sahirani, magicians. Yuridani is all the verb, and it is also on the pattern of ani, as we can see. Want. أن يخرجاكم من أرضكم بسحرهما. And we have learned that huma is also used for the dual, huma. And we know that whenever there is a kasra before it, then it will change into kasra. For example, hu, when there is a kasra before it, it changes into kasra. For example, lahu changes into bihi. Similarly, hum changes into bihim. And similarly, huma changes into hima. And why it changes into hima? Because of the kasra before it. So when there is a kasra before it, it changes into hima. So hadani, we have learned the dual, and this is ismul ishara. So as we can see here, and then sahirani is also yes, the verb also has dual, exactly. Inshallah, we will learn it. The verb also has dual for the past and the present both. قال رجلان من الذين يخافون أنعم الله عليهما. رجلان, so we can see said two men. قال رجلان, two men said, or said two men. من الذين يخافون أنعم الله عليهما. Again we can see hima. Here it is hima. Why there is kasra over here? Here there is kasra because there is kasra right before it. But here why huma has changed into kasra? Does anyone remember? Because of ya sakin. Excellent. So there are two possibilities that huma, hum, and hunna, they will change into hima or hinna or him when there is kasra right before it, and when there is kasra and before kasra we have ya sakin. Sorry, in fact, when we have ya sakin before it, then it will change into kasra. So it becomes alayhima. وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. But for who he has feared the position of his Lord are two gardens. So jannatun, and then we have jannatani. وَأَمَّا الْجِدَارُ فَكَانَ لِغُلَامَيْنِ يَتِيمَيْنِ. So now you can see that the sound of ani changes into aini. Ani, aini, aini, tani, taini, taini. So whenever you have the aini sound, the noun will be either mansub or majroor. Okay. Here in this case, the noun is mansub or majroor. غلامين يتيمين. غلامين is masuf and yatimaini is sifa. Here is, please tell me quickly. غلامين is majroor because of li, harf jar li. Yes. Okay. From Surah Al-Kahf. So we recite every Friday, alhamdulillah. So أما الجدار فكان لغلامين يتيمين. And as for the wall, it belonged to two orphan boys. So Ghulamani Yatimani has changed into Ghulamaini Yatimaini. So you need to know that Ani changes into Aini when it is Mansub or Majroor. Ani, Aini, Aini, Tani, Taini, Taini. قال إني أريد أن أنكحك إحدى ابنتي هاتين. إحدى ابنتي هاتين. So هاتين. هاتاني, هاتين. So one of these, my two daughters. So he said, indeed, I wish to wed you, one of these, my two daughters. So we can see that hatani can also change into hataini. Now, please remember something. All asma'ul ishara are mabniyun. They are fixed. For example, hadha, hadhihi, haulai, fixed. Dhalika, tilka, ulaika, they are fixed. But asma'ul ishara for the dual, for muthanna, they are diptot. So hadani can change into hadaini, and hatani can change into hataini. Please note it down, write it down. So hadani can change into hadaini, and hatani can change into hataini. So the asma'ul ishara for dual, they are diptot. They will change. Ani, aini, aini. Hadani, hadaini, hadaini. Hatani, hataini, hataini. And in this case, we can see that it is hataini. And we have also learned come. Come in the Quran, either it comes with the verb or it comes with the noun, but whenever it comes with the noun, it comes with min. I think there are 3 places in the Quran where come has come with the noun, but whenever it comes with the noun, it is after that, or it is followed by min. So come min fiyatin qalilatin ghalabat fiyatan kathiratan bi'idhnillah. So here it has the same meaning, but it is more emphatic. When min comes after come, then it becomes more emphatic. And we know that after come, the noun should be mansub. So it is basically kam fiyatan. But because we have min, and we know that after min, the noun becomes majroor. So that's why it is kam min fiyatin qalilatin ghalabat fiyatan kathiratan bi'idhnillah. So basically we will say that min is basically over here, it is mansub, but we know that it cannot be mansub, but it is in the place of nasb. Okay. So here min fiyatin, they are in the place of nasb. They are mansub lafdhiyan. But when you talk about the Arab, now you can see that they become majroor because of kam. So kam min fiyatin. So whenever kam has come with a noun in the Quran, it has come with min. And why it has come with min? For the purpose of emphasis. So alhamdulillah, our lesson is complete now. Inshallah, when we start the next lesson, we will continue, I think, or we will start lesson number 19. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.